Much better, much better, much better.
All right. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2, where we welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. You got myself, DeAndre Rudis, Steve Robinson, the executive director. Yes. How you feeling tonight, Steve?
Feeling good. Everybody out there, how are you on this Sunday afternoon, evening?
Oh, man, that feel good. That sound good, too. So we got Barry, we got Miss Otterberry, we got Steve, we got Dolly, we got Maya, we got Tiny, we got Miss Bertha, everybody in the back room. So listen, for all the people in the back room, you have the option of staying there and watching the show, which is all good. Or you can come right on screen with us as we broadcast live. If you got a question or you want to speak to us, or you got some comments, some concerns, whatever, because again, it's all about the West Side. West Side people talk about West Side things, keeping it West Side real. Yep.
All right.
All right, so what your day was like, Steve? As you can see, we actually waiting on a congressman. Sorry to say. So we waiting on a congressman. Today was his campaign re-election launch, and so we're waiting on him to get here. But until he does, obviously you could talk to us. So what's up, Steve?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty progressive day for the congressman today. He had many of the elected officials from the county and various areas out supporting him on his new re-election bid. And we spent a good time out there also, didn't we, DeAndre? Yeah, it was pretty hot out, as you all know. It still is hot, but we need to get right into it because there's always many things to talk about right here on the West Side that involve West Side people, and the issues are unlimited. And we got a caller.
We got a caller already, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer the phone.
Caller, state your name.
Welcome to Northwest Austin Council. Speak your speech.
State your name. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we
State
can hear
your
you.
name, caller.
Okay, this is Allen.
How you doing, Sandra?
How are you?
All right. Why you ain't get us on the internet line?
I didn't hear you.
You couldn't get us on Streamline?
Okay, I can try you on that. Let me hang up the landline.
That'll work if you can. Appreciate it, Sandra. So speaking of Northwest Austin Council, that's Sandra Allen. She used to be a long time organizer for Northwest Austin Council. Many of the people in the community know Sandra. She organized with a lot of the seniors in the early 90s and throughout the 90s pretty much, and the late 80s. You were saying earlier, DeAndre, how was my day? Yeah. Well, like I said, we spent much of our day out with the congressman out at his re-election campaign bid grand opening, and I want to say, or kickoff,
for sure.
Yeah. And there were quite a few people. What'd you say, about 100 or so people, 200 people, 150 people or so?
Yeah.
Were out.
So I want to say this. So right now, the way that this works is in the back room, we can get about 10 people in the back room. Back room is already full. So thank you for that.
That's right.
Thank you so much. You're far too kind. Filling up the back room. But what I want to do is I want to bring some individuals on so that we can get other people into the back room. So for those of you that are joined with us, and I saw Barry trying to talk, so I'm gonna start with you, Barry. I'm gonna bring you on the screen so you can speak your speech, player. Barry, what's up, my guy?
Barry Core.
Hey guys, well, this is fabulous, what you're doing and giving voices to people who need to be heard. For me, what's on my mind is Peacebrook. Peacebrook is a new story of the West Side.
Okay, so what about Peacebrook? What about this new story to the West Side?
The new story is of peace, opportunity, and hope, and including everyone in the conversation, and having governing councils that is made up of anyone interested can attend a meeting, vote on, voice an issue or their concern, and then a vote would be taken, and the majority would rule. And if you weren't part of that council meeting and you don't like what was decided, come to the next one. Voice your concern, put it to a vote, and a new decision will be made. Maybe, or maybe the first one would stand. And Peacebrook is about people helping each other.
All right. You know what? So I love it. I'm going to bring on another community member, Miss Bertha. You know her well as well. She says she has a question, a comment off topic, but that's all good because that's what we're here for. Now, I also want to point out that for all the people that are in the back room, you do have the option of chatting with us, and we can see the chat. So if you do have a question or something you want to come on screen, let me know. Miss Bertha, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you all.
All right, speak your speech, player.
Bertha Purnell.
Thank you all
What
so,
you know,
so
bud?
very much.
Now they done put me in front of a mic, Miss Bertha. I'm gonna act a whole fool.
It's all good. It's all good. My question or concern is businesses coming to Austin. It seems to me that everybody that and I don't know if you all have an answer for this, and if you don't, I'll keep searching or comment. It seems to me that the people who are trying to bring businesses into Austin are not willing to work with the small businesses that are here. They're looking to bring outside businesses into Austin. And I have a real concern about that because we're here trying to make a difference in our communities. And I'm not sure why, or what is, what your comment might be as to why they might be just looking for the outside instead of trying to help build within Austin.
I hear that. Valid. So that's
Bertha's mic isn't loud enough. Can you repeat what she's saying?
So what Ms. Bertha said was there is an influx of individuals from outside the community that's trying to build the business community, but those individuals seem to be not willing to work with the small business owners that are already established. And what that means is, as those individuals come from outside the community and take over that business development section or sector, so to speak, less opportunities for the people that have already been established. So the question is, and I could be stating this off topic, like, what can we do about it? Is that, am I close to that assumption, Ms. Bertha?
Bertha, you there, Bertha?
She's on mute.
Oh.
All right, well, speak your speech then, Barry. What you have to say, player?
I'll go to the
What do
next.
I want to say about it?
Yeah, I think you want. So the issue was, again, outside people coming into the community, trying to build the business community, but not really willing to build with the individuals that are already here.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thought is that we live in a service economy where what that means is essentially our economy is made up of people helping each other. And, and a lot of people don't have enough money to get what they really need and what they want. And we can get a lot richer economy by people helping one another. And we can take it a step further and use time as money.
Okay. Okay. So people leaning on one another, helping one another. All right, Steve, what's your response to that? So what you think?
Well, you living in Austin pretty much all my life. I haven't seen a lot of businesses come to Austin, but those that have come, such as I remember there was a Checkers. We had a Checkers when Checkers was a new franchise back in the 90s. It came and went, you know. What good was that to the community when you came to the community just for a few years and then you were out? I remember when we did we set up a communities with a CBA, communities, what is it called? Communities
Community benefits agreement.
Agreement. Yeah, back when Checkers came, the Northwest Austin Council sat down with them and tried to, set forth some plans, some ideas. Who are you going to hire? Are you going to hire some seniors? Are you going to hire some youth? How many people from the community are you going to hire? What's your safety plan? What's your traffic plan? All these things. Mm-hmm. And they came in. I think Checkers probably lasted maybe 10 years, if so, mm-hmm. on North Avenue in Austin. But that's an example of one that came and went. I like to just see if we can get, I don't care what the businesses are, as long as they can benefit the community with some of those things that we try to extract from them, making sure they employ people, that they're going to have a great safety plan, a great traffic plan, and they have a myriad of people that they hire, from young to old. These things I have yet to see a lot of, as I said. I can't think of any other businesses that have come, but those that have come, they seem to be in and out. I mean, the only one I could think of is the pizza place. What's the name of it? Right here on Chicago Avenue. Barney's. Barney's been around over 20 years, I want to say. It seems like they're going stronger, but it's a pizza place. They can't employ that many people, but I guess it has a need for the community. People buy pizzas.
So I want to bring in some of the community members that's in the back row. Let's see. I'm just gonna add. So I brought you in, Dolly. Dolly, you in the mix. With WNAC. Do you have a response to this whole notion about individuals coming from outside the community and not willing to build with the ones that are already here? What's your thoughts?
Well, you know what? My thought is some and not all. But some of the business that is here, they need some competition because they have gotten to the point whereas they don't care because they feel, oh, we're the only one. They're going to come to us before they come to anybody else. I think that some of the old business that's here could have fixed up their business by now because, be honest, a lot of us have gotten money for our business and, for different things in the community. And a lot of that money has not been put into your establishment to make it a better place, to make it a better eating place. So I don't have a problem with other business coming in here and doing their business because people gonna pick and choose where they want to go. And you know what? If someone gonna bring a nice restaurant like Batty and Berries in here to have a nice seating and have some good food, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. So that's my opinion.
Okay.
There you go.
So you know what? Ms. Bertha says she think her point is missed. She was muted before, and now I'm going to bring her back on so that maybe we could get this thing ironed out the right way, because I feel like I'm responsible for that. So let me bring Ms. Bertha back in so we can get a little clarification.
This is my point. I'm all for Austin being built. I have no problem with that. This is my issue. I myself, I can speak for me that, rather than someone else. I have spoken with several people in Austin about spaces in Austin. Can't get any help, none whatsoever. And I am here in Austin doing the work. I cannot get a space here in Austin, but they're constantly talking about other businesses come. Why can't we help the people that is here? I'm not talking about the businesses that are here that's not doing the job. I'm talking about getting some business that's in our for community people that are here doing the work. That is what I'm talking about. I even talked about some other space with one entity, and I picked out a lot, and they told me that they were talking about building another pop court there. Hell, you got one we're not really using, and you want to put another one in here? Come on, let's do something where it's going to benefit the community, because all that paint on the floor, on the ground, ain't going to stop the violence. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion.
No, no worries. I got you now. I see exactly what you're saying. I get the genesis of this too, because I remember we were having a conversation about you trying to find like an office or some space in certain sectors of the community where business is supposed to be being developed, but it's been a struggle. And it seems like, if you're not connected to certain individuals, or maybe if you're not feeling a certain way about certain individuals, then you won't get what you're supposed to get, so to speak, or, those opportunities won't be as available for you. And that is, one of the biggest reasons why our community is struggling the way it is, because you have gatekeepers, so to speak, to certain resources in our communities, and they aren't making them available the way they say they are, especially if you're not, like, again, connected to them. And, that really speaks to this whole political nature of our city. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really be sorry for my speech, guys, but kissing some ass. Sorry. I had to say it, though. I'm sorry.
Get that caller.
We got a caller. I'm sorry. Before it get a little too heated. Welcome to Northwest Austin Council. Speak your speech. Who is this?
This is Juanita Little from Parkside.
Oh, hey, Miss Little. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
We're great. So we're live. If you got a question, comment, concern, go ahead and drop something on us. Speak your speech.
Okay, I'm calling because I find that there's an environmental issue here in West Garfield, where there are toxic vapors and fumes from the auto mechanic shop. Two in particular, the zoning is fine, but through my research, I found out that these businesses are using East Garfield as their location when they're in West Garfield, and they're too close to the residents' homes. They're supposed to be 30 feet, and we're only 15, and the fumes are eating our throats up.
Wow.
So definitely sounds like a zoning issue.
We went through the zoning. The zoning is M1, M2. It's okay to build and manufacture, but it's not okay to paint.
So after you found this out, what was the next step? What happened after that?
Well, I've been through several channels. I've been through Lisa Maniga's office. I spoke to the lawyers down on that end. I spoke with my alderman. I spoke with Danny Davis, our congressman. Spoke with that office. I spoke with the Environmental Protection Agency. I even went to OSHA, which I know OSHA is really not involved, maybe with the workers, but not with residents. I'm a homeowner. I've been in the hospital 5 times this year.
Wow.
Neighbors are falling out. Ambulances are being called. So right now, I'm just at a standstill for something has to happen, because I don't want to. Everyone got to leave this earth, but I don't want to leave here knowing that this is the cause where it can be prevented.
Absolutely. So my question to you then would be, how many neighbors do you have backing you with this issue? Because there's obviously strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
Our neighbors are kind of stubborn when it comes to things like this because they patronize them because they take their cars over there to get them done, fixed or whatever. And normally when I ask them what's going on, do they smell these fumes? No, I don't smell anything. But one thing, I actually
Just a better
caught
chair.
one
If
of the
you want.
heads saw back while they were paying, and I asked her, you smell the paint now?
Mm.
Oh, yes, I smell it now. The other neighbor is sort of naive and she doesn't want to admit it, but her husband told me that she's been having abuse spells, which I went into the hospital. I had abuse spells for 30 days,
Wow.
solid days. That's not fair. And I'm really getting angry. I'm really getting fed up. I've gone over there. I've talked to the gentleman who owns the shop. And he said, "Oh no, we don't paint over here." I said, "That's a lie." I said, "I walked over here. You didn't know who I was. I asked you, did you paint?" And you said, "Oh, yes, we fix cars, we paint cars. Come and let me show you." Now that you're the owner is standing here, you're going to tell me you're sending out cars? That's not true.
Wow.
So yes, I've confronted everybody, but nobody wants to step up to the plate. I'm going to step up.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like something we need to organize the people around.
I'm sorry.
It sounds as if we need to organize the people around it, the community at large. I mean, that wouldn't be a hard thing to do. Just go up and down the street. The people that are immediately affected should be easy to get a petition signed against this. These well,
It affects me more than anyone because my back door is right across the alley from them where their back door is. So when they open up their back door, it's coming into my back door, which is at my kitchen where I have to close.
now that you mentioned that, it seems to me that should just be a ventilation issue. They have ventilation air extractors that actually capture the fumes, and that's something that they should easily be able to do.
We've gone through that step of ventilation. The city did have for them to close up their ventilation because they're not supposed to be painting. Painting is the issue.
Okay.
So
That's the main issue, the painting.
so I want to do this.
The vapors and the fumes.
So I want to do this. Which community area are you in again?
I'm in West Garfield.
West Garfield. Do you have our information, Steve or myself?
No.
All right. So this is what I want you to do. I need you to take our information down because what we really need to do.
I will surely write it down. Let me get my paper.
All right.
Have my pen. I have to step out of that room because the air conditioning is going too hard. Okay, go ahead.
So we're gonna do so my telephone number is 773-543-5968. And I'm DeAndre. And so you contact me and we'll start the process of trying to build community members around this issue for you because you going at it alone is great, but it ain't gonna get anything done. That's just being honest. So
Maybe we can bring the DCOs in. I'm sure she has DCOs
that's exactly
in that area.
That's why I was going with it. That's exactly
Right,
why I was
right.
going with it. So we have new opportunities to not only utilize ourselves, but some of our allies to really get in front of these issues that are surrounding our community. So call me and we'll start this process and we'll try to work it out.
Sounds good. Got it.
All right. Thank you so much for your
All
call.
right, Miss Lu-
543-5968.
Yes, 543-5968. Thank you so much for your call.
And at this time, we have Congressman Danny K. Davis in the house.
So before we do that, so in the chat, I have put the links where you can watch us live. Now, I say that because we have a bunch of individuals trying to get into the back room and they want to ask questions and they want to come on live with us, but I have to clear the back room in order for them to do that. So if you see those links that's in the chat, and I'll drop them again, please watch live from any of those three options you have. And again, there, whether it's Facebook or the YouTube, you can actually make comments there and we'll see them and we can answer them. And if you want to be on the show, click the link, come back into the show, and then you can come on live with us. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and clear this back room and I'm going to bring the hardest working man on the West Side in, Congressman Davis.
All right.
Well, let me tell you, I'm delighted to be here again. And it's been a great day for me. Yeah, I like that hardest working. But, you know, I think people who do nothing get nothing. People who do nothing accomplish nothing. People who do nothing kind of expect nothing and they get nothing. So a worker, when you work, you bind yourself to what you believe and what you hope and what you're looking for. I have been busy all day. Matter of fact, I started this morning on the Spencer Leak Show. And I mentioned the fact that I've been listening to that show for 61 years.
Wow.
60 years, not 61. I came to Chicago in 1961, fresh out of college. And when I got here, I turned the radio on one Sunday morning and I heard It's Time Truth Speak. And I was so impressed with Mr. A.R. Leak, Spencer Leak's daddy, until I started listening every Sunday morning. And I've still listened Sunday morning. It comes on at 9 o'clock. And I used to go to Sunday school. I don't go to Sunday school much anymore, but I used to go to Sunday school. But I go to church, and I usually get there about 11 o'clock. And so I could listen to It's Time Truth Speaks before going to church. And I still enjoy It's Time Truth Speaks. But when I left there, I went to the Carey Centenary African Methodist Church because today was their Blue Jean Day. And all that really means is they have services outside and they invite the community to come in. And I had a wonderful time listening to Reverend Walter Harris talk about the Good Samaritan. So I had a good time. Then I left there and came on back out.
Busy day.
West. And when I came back and announced that I was going to run for re-election, had a wonderful time with people who were there. I guess about 200 of them. And we just had ourselves a good time. So I've had good time all day long.
We got a call already.
I hear you.
Yeah.
They knew you was coming.
No ways tired.
Welcome to Northwest Austin Council. Speak your speech. Who is this? How you doing, Miss Turner? Yeah, so the show has started. Congressman Davis is here. Steve is here. DeAndre is here. You got a question, comment, and concern?
Well, how you doing, Miss Turner? What's that?
She said it won't do it no good to complain.
I won't complain.
I hear you.
As a matter of fact, Spencer had his organist sing that song for me this morning.
He did.
I won't complain. And he did just a great job because that's kind of a hallmark of mine, not complaining. I often say that rather than curse in the dark, you ought to try and light a candle. And so if you light a candle, then you bring a little light to whatever the situation is. So like you, I won't complain.
That's right. So ain't nothing going on this illustrious Sunday afternoon, Miss Turner, that you like to discuss with us? Oh, we gonna talk the talk today. We're gonna talk the talk today, Miss Turner. I tell I tell you, we wanted to dedicate the first half of the show and pretty much the whole show, if you like, to what Congressman Davis is starting to do. I mean, like he said, he started his reelection bid today. I know there's a myriad and a great amount of questions people have for the congressman. I mean, the last show we kind of touched base on how did the congressman become the congressman. I think DeAndre asked that question. And, many of you may or may not know, especially we want the younger people to understand what it takes to be a congressman. You mind expounding a little bit on that, Congressman?
Well, I'm always eager to answer any questions, but our way of governing in this country, and I know that there are people called anarchists, and these are people who suggest that maybe there ought not be no government. But if you didn't have some rules and you didn't have some regulations, can you just imagine what it would be like if there were no traffic signs and everybody just drove whichever way they wanted to drive?
We can get nowhere.
Whenever. But I guess what? There are countries like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in Nigeria.
Right.
And they didn't have no real traffic rules. And it might take you 30 minutes to get across the street or to get from one block to the other. We had police escort.
Right.
And trying to get around with police escorts. And the police had themselves sort of a little whip. They kind of nudging people out of the way. And so you got to have some rules and regulations. And that's what government really does. Establish rules and regulations about certain things.
Absolutely.
At every level of being. For example, people say, what does a congressman do? We decide how much of your paycheck.
Oh man, get your hands out of my pocket.
We decide what the tax rate is.
Right.
And so while we don't decide the exact amount of every transaction, we determine how much taxes you will pay based upon what you earn. We determine the corporate tax rate, how much taxes corporations and companies will pay. And of course, the big difference between Republicans and Democrats is that many of the Democrats believe that the corporate tax rate should be increased. Many Republicans believe that the corporate tax rate should be decreased.
Right.
So if we increase the corporate tax rate, obviously that means billionaires will be paying more money or a fairer share in some regards, right? Is that
Both.
That's okay.
More.
Okay.
I think more in this instance would be fairer.
Okay.
I'm saying
Okay.
everything that you do has to be paid for. I'm saying
Absolutely.
schools have to be paid for. Hospitals have to be paid for. Doctors have to be paid for. Pills have to be paid for. Everything has to be. The question becomes who pays what
Right.
and how much. And so that's the separation. Who pays what?
But Republicans feel that if the billionaires and millionaires pay less, it'll be a trickle down effect to hire more people.
Many people who describe themselves as Republicans do believe that. Now, not all people believe anything. I'm saying you can't just categorize everybody. For example, when I was studying psychology, you could assess people's personality by their body build.
Mm.
I'm saying, say a person like Andre, we would call him a mesomorph.
Yes.
And sometimes certain body types move certain ways. Like we'd say, people who are stockily built and so forth and all, we say that they have a tendency to move against people.
Yeah.
People who are thin and eclectic, they have a tendency to move towards people. I'm saying they're internal. They easier to kind of deal with. And people who really jovial and fat, they like people. They embrace.
I get that.
But that's not everybody.
Right.
I'm saying everybody with those body types don't fit that category. But many people really do. I've said, so you can tell some things about some groups based upon who they hang with. But everybody, even in a group, don't believe the same thing.
Absolutely.
So every Republican don't, it's like everybody live on a block, don't believe there ought to be a block club.
That's
Some
true.
folks live on the block. They don't mind having a block club, but they ain't gonna do nothing to make sure that you do have one.
That's true.
They'll take it if you got one, but they ain't coming to no meetings.
No, they'll be the first one to send all the kids and grandkids out to the party.
Yeah, and so you can't say that everybody that live in so-and-so block. But you know, I'm going to stay on this block club organizing thing.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Every chance I get, because if you want to really change your community, Joe Biden ain't going to change your community.
No, Joe.
No, Joe Biden, Mayor Lightfoot ain't going to change.
No Lightfoot.
Your community. No, Mayor Lightfoot ain't going to do that.
Right.
The governor is not going to do that. But the only people who can do that is the people themselves.
The people
who are there. And so people look at me when I say,
and organized people can be dangerous.
Policing ain't going to change whether or not you go to the block club meeting.
Right.
Or whether or not you try to help the kid next door who needs a little nurturing. The police, and it's so sad and unfortunate that a policeman was killed last night.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I briefly heard something about
were
that.
Killed last night also. And the only way we really change that is help people not want to kill anybody.
Right. We gotta organize. We gotta build
and educate.
Build the blocks. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
If you are taught that killing somebody is one of the worst things you could possibly do, and you really believe that, you would have a hard time killing somebody other than perhaps in self-defense. Now, anybody is going to protect themselves.
Absolutely.
But we were taught as children that the two ways you went to hell for sure was one, to kill somebody and kill yourself. And that if you kill yourself, you didn't have a chance to ask for forgiveness. And you was going straight to hell. And hell was described as somewhere you didn't want to go. The devil was walking around with a hot pitchfork.
So we got our back room full again.
We're gonna take one from the back room.
I definitely want to bring somebody on screen from the back room.
And I'm gonna
I do see our state rep Camille Lilly is here. I don't know if she'd like to come on, but this could be an opportunity to. We speaking about block clubs at the moment.
Absolutely.
She said that they are very important. So, State Rep, would you like to say anything?
Hello.
Well, I
She
heard her
said
say
no.
something earlier, and it sounded like manna from heaven to me.
There you go.
All right,
She
so
talked about her father and the fact that he's ill, and she's his caretaker to a big degree right now, and is spending time looking after him. Well, with that kind of compassion and that kind of passion, that's the kind of person that I want in office to represent me. Camille happens to be the state representative for the 7th district. I happen to live in that district. Like anybody else, I want to be represented. And Camille Lilly does a great job. But you know, when you're part of a community, then people are no strangers. So when I think of State Representative Camille Lilly, I think of
I
her
think I'm gonna bring her in
mama.
the stream. It looked like she came off mute, so I'm gonna bring her in the stream.
We got her in.
Okay, let's see.
I
Are you off mute now?
Are you in, State Rep?
Okay, now I think she's in now.
I think of her mama. I think of her daddy. I think of the Christian Action Ministry. I think of Bethel New Life.
Absolutely.
I think of being a part of the community. And community means coming together in unity. And so I sure want to hear what she got to say.
Are you there, State Rep? Camille Lilly.
She's off mute. Maybe I don't know.
Can
we
we-
can't hear her, but she's definitely off mute.
We can't hear you.
Oh, we'll try it again. I want to bring in a community member because they are in the back room. So I'm gonna bring Dolly back on. Hey, Dolly, how's it going? We got the congressman with us now. You got a question or something, or even a response to this whole block club development piece that where we're talking about?
You know what? I love the block club. I am the president of two blocks, the 600 and the 700 block club of Lord. And through like the safe and peaceful funding, I have created 2 safe spaces there. And the community are coming out. They work with me very well. The most important thing that I'm proud about is the men. Is that the men, they make sure they help the women do what we need to do. We have put a gazebo there. We got benches there. We got flower gardens there. We have birthday parties out there. We have anniversaries out there. The community have started having meetings over in that garden, and we host them when they reach out to me and say, Dolly, can we use your garden? Because they love it. It is a place where the community is really coming together. So
That's a good thing.
I need you to keep that going, because we're gonna keep spreading. We're going after Lockwood, and we're going after Long to bring them in. So we just gonna be inching our way until we get to where we have to go. So I think that it's very needed. The thing about it, I started maybe about 10 years ago, and there was 1 or 2 that would show up, but I didn't stop, because if you have vision, then you can see past from where you are and see where
That's
you
right.
want to be. And so this is what we have, like 200 to 300 people on our block when we do our block club. Just this past May, and I'm gonna be quiet, we did what I call a unity luncheon, whereas we blocked out the street, didn't get a permit, so don't tell nobody. But we didn't get a permit, but we blocked off the street, right? We did white linen tablecloth with the chair covers with the bows on the table in front of everybody's house, gave them a place setting with their family names on them, had centerpieces. I had someone to come in and cater the food for us, and they loved it, and they're still talking about it. My block is
That's right. And
So
that's what it takes, Ms.
that's what
Sherman.
it takes.
I
You
think it
can't stop.
honestly takes to build community. You have to be able to build it house by house and a block at a time, one
That's
block by
right.
one block.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
good. I've been on your block. I know you rocking it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you like that.
But
You need to come. You need to come over and get your old neighbors that living behind my house down the street from your boss from
Donnell.
man. They got a jungle growing in the back of their house. I think we have to have an intervention with them.
See, we have people that will come over. I have a young man, he volunteered his time to cut our garden. He don't charge us anything, you know. And if we see somebody's grass that is growing out of the way, we ask them, can we cut your grass for you? And they're so happy,
Yeah.
yes, please, because I don't have a lawnmower. And we cut
You
their grass.
know who those neighbors are. We had that discussion when you first moved over on the block. They were still living there, and then they boogied out with the
Thank
flight.
God.
Listen, this space is a community conversation. So I have brought a couple more people on the screen. We got Miss Bertha. She was talking to Miss Dolly saying how she loved her blocks and everything. So we want to bring her right on. And then State Rep Camille, Lily, I brought you back on. And hopefully we can hear you this time. You're not on mute, so I don't know. So, let's try it again.
Hello. There we go. We got a visual.
We got visuals.
Yeah.
You know what it could be? You know what? It's possibly the connection. That's probably what it is, because I hear a lot of crackling, so it's probably just the connection. Still shouldn't really have a whole lot to do with the sound,
Right. But you can call in if you want. You can call in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
773-379-7961. That's Northwest Austin Council is 773-379-7961. You can't get through. So we have how many more people in the back room? We got others in the back room there?
Yes. We got a lot in the back room. So let me start to bring
Let's see if
other
anyone
on.
can. It's strange. Miss Sherman can get through. Yeah.
Hello, Miss Allen. Welcome to Northwest
Sandra.
Austin Council. How are you?
What you say, Sandra? How you been? She kind of choppy too,
How
huh?
about you guys?
That's Sandra Allen.
Can you hear
Long
me?
time. Yes, we can, Sandra. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. She's Sandra Allen. For those that don't know,
Good to
she's
see
one of
all
our
of you
best
guys
organizers
also.
in the community. Say again, Sandra.
Yeah. Anyway, I think your topic is awesome. I think it's an awesome topic about businesses coming in. I think during the time when I was organizing, we was dealing with self-sufficiency in the community where people, did for one another. And I think Dolly Sherman spoke on doing for others. So I'm glad some of the basics is still in place.
Right. Hey, we trying to get it
Hello?
there, Sandra. We trying to build it, make it
Hello?
stronger, Like we said, one house at a time, one block at a time, one community at a time, if we can.
Yeah.
You know how it was back in the
That's it. That's
early
it.
days.
That's
Early
it.
days, that's exactly what
That's
it
it.
was. What we used to always say: the sneaker net beat the internet any day. Door to door, grassroots,
Mm-hmm.
door knocking, organizing, good old fashioned way.
Exactly.
Congressman, what
Exactly.
you say about that? You got a
Believe
good
me, the
grassroots
basics have never failed.
organizing background. You like some water or something, or some soda or something, Congressman?
No, I'm good. Organizing begins. I always say that whenever two people interact, that's the beginning of organizing. And of course, the more organized people are, the less chaos there is. And so the first step towards organizing is being organized with those that you are around the most. And that's at home.
That's right.
That's kind of where it starts. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that two people always have to agree on everything that's going on, because it's also my position that if two people agree all of the time, then one of them is unnecessary. And so you don't have to agree all the time, but you can disagree and not necessarily be disagreeable. And it's only when people come together and decide that they're going to approach, like the person I wanted to say to the person who was talking when I came in about this particular problem she was having. The real deal is don't give up on solving a problem. I mean, oftentimes we raise an issue, we raise a position, we state that something is wrong or not to our liking. But if it doesn't get corrected, sometimes people will move on to the next thought or the next idea or the next issue. Where if they keep dealing with that one problem until they bring it to some resolution, then it's amazing how good you feel knowing that you actually stopped something from happening. It's not happening anymore.
It's a victory.
Or that you caused something to happen. But you can't quit just because it didn't happen the first day. Or the second day or the first week. So you just got to keep working at it, until you get some resolution of the problem.
Let me ask a question. That makes me think. So, do you think because we are Black that we have to subscribe to the notion that we have to press on harder and harder than other communities?
I think it depends on what you want. I remember and I tell the story sometimes about a man who spoke to my 6th grade class. When I was in the 6th grade, the teacher brought a speaker in. I don't remember what he did, what his job was, or what. But I do remember that he said to us, so I want you children to ask yourself 3 questions. He said, 1, who am I? 2, what do I want? And 3, how do I propose to get it? And so I think that people can ask themselves that question. First, who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I? Then, of course, what do I want?
What do we want?
What do I want?
What do I want?
And once you decide what you want, then you have to answer the next question. What am I prepared to do to get it? If I really want it, then what am I going to do in order to try and get it? So I'm going to, if a person can answer those questions, and I got a call and I'm saying to my caller, I'm going to call you back when I come off of this. So I'll get right back to you. But
always working. Always
working. How do you decide, one, who am I?
You have to do a self-assessment.
Am I a Black man, a Black woman, or am I a woman, or am I just a person? Am I a certain kind of person? What do I want? Do I want to be rich? Do I want a lot of money? Do I want to live in a peaceful environment? Do I want to change the trajectory of my life?
A lot of self-definition, huh?
Yeah, well,
you got to define yourself in this life, though, or somebody else going to do it for you.
if you can define yourself, then that will oftentimes tell you what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know what I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
In similar vein, when I talk to individuals, because I'm not sure if you know, by education and by profession, in some ways, I do psychology. So when I do building of people, I ask them 3 questions, and it's similar to these: who am I? Where am I going? And what do I bring to a relationship? Because that's like the value added proposition. So you know who you are, right? When you start to define yourself, you figure it out. So this is very much so similar when we're trying to get what we're looking for out of life. So,
and there are a lot of different songs that describe. I know a song that I've liked since I was a kid. Tennessee Ernie Ford used to sing that song. And the song was Peace in the Valley. And the words went, I'm so tired and so lonely, but I must go alone until the Lord comes and call me away. But there will be peace in the valley someday. He said, the bear will be gentle and the wolf will be tame and the lion will lay down by the lamb. And I will be changed from this creature that I am.
All right.
And so
All right.
if you can get the lion to lay down by the lamb, I mean, that's a pretty peaceful, because lions like to eat lambs. They I'm
dead
saying,
meat.
and if you're tired, but you also can't stop, even though you know you're tired, but you got to go along and you keep going until that time comes when the Lord comes and calls, if you believe in the Lord. If you don't, then you believe in something else. And so whatever else you believe in, or if you don't believe in anything, or you just believe in yourself. Well, I'd rather believe in something other than myself, because I don't believe that myself has all that I need in order to find peace in the valley.
So what would you need if you had to say to fulfill self so that you could find that peace?
I need an understanding of what peace is. And peace does not just mean an existence. It also can mean I'm comfortable with where I am. I'm comfortable with what I do. I like my job. I'm not looking for another position. I like getting up in the morning, going off to do what I do all day. I often tell people, if you don't like what you do, you ought to find yourself something else.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd hate to have a job and didn't like what I did. That I'd go find me something else to do.
Nothing worse than spending a third of your day somewhere where you don't like to be. That has to be very stressful. And again, that doesn't help you find peace at all. So
you get a heart attack.
Yeah. So listen, we are entering, or at least ending, the first hour, and we usually take a little break. We need to stretch and things like that, get some water in us. So we appreciate you all for listening in. Again, this is Welcome to Northwest Austin Council.
That's
Congressman
right.
Davis, DeAndre Rudis, Steve Robinson, Executive Director of Northwest Austin Council. Look, this is a live show. So I've constantly put in the comment section as well as the private chat the link. So please watch us live. This back room, we can only fit 10 individuals. So there's 3 of us. That means only 7 people could be in the back room at a time. And I need to clear so that we can get more people on, so that if they have questions and things like that, we could bring them right onto the live screen.
Let's be clear what's with the back room, what is actually happening. Those are just the individuals that are able to come in and speak.
No, so in the back room, you can actually listen live to the show, but it gives you an opportunity if you do want to speak and come onto the show to be able to do that. Right. So, but the show is streaming live, so you can watch it on the Facebook, you can watch it on the YouTube, and you can be just as involved, because there you can also make comments if you have them. The back room is useful for those people that want to come onto the show and speak.
And those that are on Facebook can it goes straight comment to the stream.
Yep, it goes straight to the stream, and you can comment there. So that being said, we're going to take a break. I'm going to clear this back room, though. I'm going to put, again, in the chats where you can watch us live. If you got comments, comment there. If you do want to come on and speak, then come back on. That's not a problem. So
yeah, we're going to probably try to limit it to about, 2 minutes per person or something like that?
2-3 minutes a person.
Yeah.
So that being said, we're just going to take a quick break and come right back.
For show or full show? Is our
streaming take a lot.
I'm sorry.
No worries. All right, we're back now. You know what? It looks like State Rep is probably home. Let's see if we can bring her on, and let's see if we can hear her this time. So State Rep, we brought you into the show. Are you able? I can hear it a little. It's moving around.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
All right. Hello, gentlemen. And my
all right, we hear you.
Great. I just want to say thank you all for just really having an opportunity for we can listen to my congressman and share the nuggets of how government works, but also listen to the people and their ideas and their energies about their community. So I'm excited to be here, but I want to echo block clubs are awesome. Block clubs can you still hear me?
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay, block clubs makes the difference in any community. It shows that neighbors, friends, and family can come together and get something done, such as having a camaraderie on your block. But it builds the foundation for many other things to happen in the community. Congressman Davis is very much on point there, and the importance of that, and your listeners, they get it as well. A lot of good ideas come from just talking to your neighbor on your block.
Absolutely.
So I'm just coming on. I came on to listen. I'm jotting down the things that I know I need to work on based on hearing what the people are saying. But I also wanted to come on and say, Congressman Davis, thank you for your leadership. I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm excited that you are announcing your candidacy again. Your institutional knowledge of what's happening in our country is what we need. And the ideas that you have spun over the years, from federally qualified health centers to the Second Chance Act to the 10 by 10 by 30, all of those ideas, programs, and policies are making a difference in the lives of so many people here in our community and here in the state of Illinois. So thank you for your commitment to people. I know the love that you share and the love that you give to the people of Illinois. So I just wanted to come and say that. That's why I came on today.
Well, let me just thank you, because I felt so warm and fuzzy when I heard you talking about your father earlier today, and the fact that you were so engaged in his care. You know, people dehumanize as opposed to humanize things. And they think that individuals are just kind of, my father lived with me on the weekend for the last 5 years of his life. And generally, when I would get home from DC, the first thing I would do on a Friday would either pick him up, or my good friend Nate Benson would go pick him up from a day program that he was involved in. And then everything that I did the rest of that weekend, we would do it together. And those were 5 wonderful years. I had so much fun. I mean, I laughed a lot.
Yeah.
I did a whole bunch of stuff. And he was so funny, but also teachable and teaching in his own way of doing things, that those 5 years were just wonderful years. And when he finally passed away at 92, other than this little brief period, in terms of a sense of sadness, shortly that was gone. And people were so kind. Actually, a busload of us went. We had 2 funerals for my father. One funeral was here at United Baptist Church, and the other one was back where he had lived in Durham, Arkansas. And a busload of people went down to his funeral in Arkansas. Some of them had never seen cotton before.
Wow.
Because it was during cotton season. Right near the church was a cotton field. And 2 of my friends, Garfield Major and Cliff Dewell White, drove down to the funeral and turned right around and drove back after the funeral was over. And so people I've had so many wonderful experiences with so many different people. And if people had heard me and Garfield on the radio, because we did a radio show together.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we would disagree on stuff. They would have thought that we were arch enemies.
Yeah.
And here Garfield drove down to Durham, Arkansas, to my daddy's funeral, turned right around, him and Cliff Dewell White, and drove back to Chicago that very same day. And so people, why do I go to Dewell's? I will buy fish at Dewell's Fish Market as long as they're selling it. I wish I had some right now. As a matter of fact, some catfish at that. But I'm saying, if you've got relationships with people, I mean, I look across the street, the restaurant, Sheer Elegance.
Flavors restaurant.
But the clear Sheer Elegance boutique and beauty shop.
Yeah.
That's
Ricky.
Alderman Allen Streeter's nephew.
Oh, Ricky. Ricky is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Ricky on my hair. You styled me.
The church next door here, across the hall, across the street.
Reverend Reed.
Reverend Reed built that church with his hand.
Absolutely.
Himself built that church.
Absolutely.
And so people just don't know enough about each other. And that's what a block club could really do, is help people know each other and know who they are. And so the person you thought was an enemy probably ended up being a friend. Today I had just a wonderful experience meeting people whose families I grew up with. Today, the other day when we were out with the police, one of the police officers' daddy and I were classmates in grammar school.
Wow.
And he just came over and said, I think we probably know some of the same people. Then he told me his name, and I said, oh, you got to be kidding.
Coincidence.
JW's son. He said, yeah, that's my daddy. So people just need to get to know each other.
For sure.
So I wanted to bring in a couple community members. We have Miss Edie Jacobs on the line. We have Ella Houston, both of which are huge Block Club supporters and
leaders.
And leaders, absolutely. So we're talking about Block Club development. Both of you all have extensive histories with building Block Clubs, leading them. So what is your take? What do you have to add to this conversation in terms of Block Club development and why it's so necessary for us? Either or, and it looks like Ella, you are unmuted right now. So Ella, can we hear you?
Yes. One thing I have noticed about Black communities, we tend to isolate. We don't know who's living next door to us. We don't know who's living on the first floor. We don't know anything. And when you don't know anything, you tend to form your own opinion, which most likely is wrong of that person. So I use the Block Club as a way of getting to know who lives around me, who my neighbors are. Now, I try to do this every day of the week, but, having a party is a nicer way of doing it. Plus we conversationalize, we talk, we see
That's right.
things.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ella, because we used to always say there's a leader on every block. And how we would define that leader, it doesn't necessarily have to be that person that's always outspoken and doing everything, but it's that person that sees everything, that wants to know most of the things, that wants to, that talks about it to someone, either in the open or behind closed doors. Those are typically the people we find and try to build leadership out of. I hate to say it, but that nosy person, you know what I mean? That person that want to know. That want to get to know who these other people are and what they're doing. But that's part of, the development of, as long as I know you, Ella, been on 30 years, you've been the Block Club president.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You are the go-to person. And we appreciate that. We try to find others to emulate after you and Mr. Ferber and Derek, so we can build these blocks, as we have been doing with our network of neighbors. So, keep up the good work. We're going to stay there with you. And we're going to get support from anybody that we can.
Well, we need help. We need help. Whether we want it or not, we still need it.
You know what? I just want to say thanks for the great food that I had at the Block Club the other day. Big boy can eat. Big boy can eat.
Yeah. I got to give it up to you too, Alex, for sure. It was good.
Well, thank you guys.
You're always looking out. You're always looking out, for sure.
So, Ms. Jacobs, are you there? You're going to have to unmute. Wait, let me see if I can unmute you.
Yeah.
No, you're going to have to unmute yourself, Ms. Jacobs. There you go.
You got me now?
We got you.
There you go.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, good evening. My name is Edie Jacobs. I'm a longtime community worker. And dealing with the block, I've been the block president forever, but I'm pretty much the only Black person on this block that's been here like 40 some years, and we have other people has came to the block, and I tried to get in touch with them and communicate with them, but nobody wants to come out of their gate. But I'm still out here, boots on the ground. I'm still trying to work within our community, trying to help men and women get jobs if they want jobs.
Right.
So
You
this
know
is what
you
I
got our
do for our
support.
community. Excuse me.
I say, you know you got our support, Miss Jacobs. You
I
know
do
that.
know NAC, Steve, DeAndre, and the other people that's in the community, but not the people on the block. All of us all work together. Steve and the other guy, Steve, what's his name? I forgot. Brought me
Marvis.
on
Yeah.
Marvin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they came on my block and they worked with me. We got it together, but it was still me. But like I said, I'm still trying to communicate, trying to get with the people on my block. But I got to keep working. I can't stop. I keep it moving.
Well,
And
what I
like
want
I
to say,
said,
Ms. Jacob, it's called block club development. That means that the block club is constantly being developed. It's never at a total state. Block clubs, you have new entities, new people that move in and out. You have other people that just don't want to do things, as Congressman said earlier. But the idea is to constantly develop that block. Get to know your neighbors. I got a saying, know your neighbors, because you know what? One day your neighbor may need you. And that means the same for you. They need to know you because you might need them. So it's a developing piece, and that's something I wholeheartedly believe in.
So I want to ask a question of
Go
our
ahead.
electeds, because both of you have to deal with different demographics, have to work across the table with different people, different personalities, circumstances, what have you. And what Ms. Jacobs is speaking to is the changing of our neighborhoods and how those that are coming in are less likely to want to be a part of the block club, something that you spoke to earlier, Congressman. And so to the both of you, what are some suggestions of things that we can do in our community so that we can be as neighborly as possible, but try to get those other people involved, even though they may not want to?
Live by the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I have lived among different type people. And I used to live in a building. 2 policemen brothers owned the building. It was a 3-flat. And guess what? Their daughter, who is a doctor in Florida, calls me from time to time about issues and problems and stuff. And one was a police sergeant, and the other one was a patrolman. I've lived next door to all kind of different people. And they're all the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
I lived at 1529 South Kaminsky years ago. And the 2 people who owned the building, and they still alive, Otha Nance and his wife. Otha was about 80 some years old, maybe 90. and when we see each other at meetings or running around the hood, or I'll go to a church, we can't get away from each other. I'm saying we are delighted
Right.
to see each other.
Now that's development there.
I used to live on the block with Al Weisinger.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Deputy Chief,
He
Commander.
was the deputy chief of police
Right.
for the city of Chicago. His mama was the block club president after they moved from there.
So he came from strong stock then, huh?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I also lived on the same block with John Fountain. John Fountain writes a column for the Sun Times every Sunday. I read it. I've never met him, and I want to meet him, and I intend to meet him, but we've lived, and so as far as I'm concerned, no man or woman is an island.
Right.
We're all a part of the main. I know for whom the bells toll.
Mm.
They toll for me and you and you and you. I just try to treat people the way I want to be treated.
Right.
I people come from across the street to come talk to me on my porch.
Right.
People see me getting out of my car. They come up. I see them getting out of their car.
Mm-hmm.
I go over. Hey, how you doing? Or I wave to the guys the young fellas on the street who may be out on the street drinking a can of beer, something they shouldn't be doing. You know, I mean, I'm saying,
Right.
just do unto others the
Right,
way
right.
you'd have them do unto you.
Yeah.
And people respond in kind.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So just keep-
It's almost like what I like to say, you meet people where they're at, you know.
yeah.
Many of us out there, you know, I think what DeAndre is kind of referring to, that our communities are slowly but kind of fastly changing. You know, we do have quite a bit of Spanish-speaking people in our communities. When DeAndre and I actually did our 40 blocks in a movement walk, we went down the block of Monitor from North Avenue to Division, and we counted literally very new Spanish-speaking families that in the number of about 34 homes, 34 individual homes within what was that, about
But they're
116
people,
homes.
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you, my voting record is just as good for Spanish-speaking people as it is for Black people. They've been an oppressed group in this country, not oppressed the same way that African Americans have been, because nobody else experienced slavery.
At all, yeah, absolutely.
Slavery is something that unless you really dig into slavery and study it, you don't get the full impact of what slavery has done to a people. Can you imagine what it was like that you couldn't go to the bathroom if you wanted to?
Right.
Or you couldn't get a drink of water when you wanted a drink of water? You had to ask somebody if you could have a drink of water.
You couldn't even marry who you wanted to.
Get warm if you was cold. And so there's nothing like child slavery. Because no other people that can claim that experience. They can't say, I know what you feel. I said, well, yeah. You've got some ideas about it, but I don't know if you really know.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer to slavery in terms of what caused it, how we happened to fall into that position. I've been in other African countries and all, and I've asked scholars in those countries how they think slavery really got going, where a ship could come to another country and leave with a shipload of Black folks in the hold of the ship, tied together and all that kind of stuff. Somebody there had to be helping them, or something was going on.
Yeah.
But I can't deal with the history of that. But I can sure deal with current events.
Right.
I can deal with right now. I can deal with what it is. And so my Hispanic brother that lived next door to me, he didn't create Hispanic or Black. The Jewish people that I interact with, I have an organization called my Multi-Ethnic Advisory Group. Everybody in the group is some other than being Black. I think it's only about 4 or 5 Black people in the group, other than some African immigrants. everybody else is something. We finna have an event in Naperville
Right.
next week.
Okay.
Of all places, Naperville.
Yeah.
That's where they want to
Yeah.
have it. And so that's where they're going to have it. And I'll be there with them. It's the Indian Mall in Naperville.
Yeah.
But guess what?
It's tough.
They also support me in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I support them in what they do. I was with them in D.C. the other week, and I noticed that the only two people who was there, one was an Indian member of Congress. Of course, I was there. I'm a black member of Congress, and they made sure they came to my office after they left out of their meeting. Well, you know, if you be the good Samaritan, other people will be good Samaritans too.
Right.
Sometimes they won't, but I ain't gonna let them get me off my square.
Yeah.
Amen.
I
Amen.
ain't gonna let them steal
Amen.
my joy.
Right.
That's
right.
what we talk about when we at church is talking about somebody stealing your joy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't treat me the way I think you ought to be treating me, that ain't gonna make me hate you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You look at those snaps. That's a snap right there. That's a snap, Congressman.
We hear you. We hear
Yeah.
you, Representative.
So Representative Lilly, how would you respond? So the congressman is responding in kind, right? The golden rule: treat others as you want them to treat you. So how do you respond, or what advice, I should say, would you have for people that's trying to develop blocks that are dealing with people that are different than themselves?
Well, thank you for the question, DeAndre. And I have to first say, I concur with Congressman Davis. Treat others as you wish to be treated, and move from there. That's your anchor, and you can only go up from there. At least stay afloat. But some of the things that makes the difference is a welcoming team, a welcoming. Whoever comes on the block, let's welcome them. Say welcome to Monitor, the 5900 on Monitor. My name is. If
Absolutely.
you need anything, please feel free to give me, because I live on the corner. I also would ask that think about a 4-question survey for the block. What are their expectations for being a neighbor? What are some of your ideas? How many kids you have? All those little things that get you to know your neighbor.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, I would say develop a phone tree for safety. Or what we now call neighborhood watch, clubs.
Right.
Knowing each other's phone number, something as little as that. You may know where they live, but you also can have their phone number. Those things build relationships. Those activities allow you to interact. So I would add that to treat others as you would wish to be treated.
Well, I think you're on the right track with those ideas, Representative. I mean, I always go back to when I came to Northwest Austin Council, and I was 25 years old, and I didn't know anything about owning a property, and we had some neighbors that were kind of unruly and out in the alley and drinking and so forth. And I came to Northwest Austin Council, particularly Miss Spann, and I said, Miss Spann, these neighbors, I just bought this place. What do I do? They say, oh, we know who they are. That's the Ellises. We know them. We'll talk to them. Matter of fact, we'll introduce you to them, Steve. I'm like, well, that'd be a good thing because it's kind of hard to get in that crowd. And they actually did. And to this day, one of the Ellises, and I know them all, is one of my best friends. He's a minister. Actually, Minister Dwight Eason. He's an Ellis. And his church, St. Luke's, which is on Keeler and Lake Street. He's been a minister for the last 20 some odd years, Started out on the rough side of the tracks and smoothed them out. That's all I can say. But yeah, it does take that opportunity to get to know your neighbor. And then one of the things you said that I think the most important thing when you have Spanish speaking families in the community everybody's got kids, and kids are going to be kids. When you can do things that can incorporate their kids and all the kids, those families tend to reach out and come together with everyone. But again, you still have to kind of meet everyone where they're at.
Yeah.
I just say, give me a piece of that tacos and a shot.
Say good. Say good. So from the Facebook, we had a few comments. I kind of been skipping over them a little bit. But Sandra Allen, number one, she said, "Good evening, Representative Lily." But a little bit earlier, she replied to Congressman Davis, and she was saying that you are absolutely correct. She said, "Knowing your neighbor to the best of your abilities is something that we should be looking to do." She said, as she said a little bit earlier, you got to get back to the basics. She said she remembers when Congressman Davis, then the 29th Ward Alderman, would go to the back door of her mother's Ceola Guerin, the back door of the house, and she said she would always catch you singing the impressions recording "People Get Ready." Yeah. She said it was friendly, down to earth, and understanding. She said, let's just get back to basics with the correct modification. She said, "People get ready."
That's right.
And then she said, in response to a couple other things that was said, ain't nobody gonna turn her around. And she said, yes, that phone tree idea is absolutely what we need to do. We need to get back to the basics.
Phone trees are great tools to use. I remember Miss Spam used to push that like crazy. We got to get a phone tree, Steve. Got to make sure that phone tree is strong. And it is. We use them to this day. You and
Absolutely,
I. We reach across communities with phone trees now. We have DeAndre and I are on a group called Neighborhood Policing Initiative, which is like a pilot program with various communities: Belmont Cragen, Austin, Gilwood, and Hermosa. And we actually sit as ambassadors on this group. And sometimes the people from Hermosa will call us, "Steve, we got neighbors over here. They won't shut the music off. It's 1 a.m. What you guys do in Austin?" We doing it right now. Call 911. We gonna call 911. Call 2 more people to tell them to call 911, and we gonna make this tree work.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done those things.
And let me just say, you mentioned Miss Spann. Miss Spann was the monarch of this community, where she really loved Austin.
Yes, she did.
Not just North Austin, where she anchored her work. She loved Austin and the people of Austin. And Congressman Davis knows her commitment to positive change. And the two of them have been my mentor as I just live in the community. As I just make sure that I am working alongside my neighbors. So Miss Spann was the one who sent me to Washington, D.C. for the National Weed and Seed Community Development Certification. And I came back from that training with a litany of information, but an enlightenment of how to work with Congressman Davis, how to work with our aldermen, how to make sure that I'm standing alongside each of them with a solution. I thank Miss Spann for that gift of knowledge and compassion for people. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh no, Miss, you're absolutely right, Representative. I mean, Miss Spann has left a legacy in our community. I remember, again, I have to say, she would always have me around, and she would say things that people were like, "Who's the young man with you?" She said, "Oh, this is gonna be my new president. It's gonna be." I'm like, "Really? I don't have that kind of time. I got family, I got wife, I got church, Miss Spann. I got properties to take." And she would always say that, but it is what it is. She was trying to pass the proverbial torch, and we have to continue to do those things. We have to have those torches lit first and foremost, and then we need to start to pass them in some way or another. You don't have to pass the whole flame, but at least give a little bit of flicker, to someone.
So I'm gonna show my age a little bit. Now, when I was going to Austin High School, I would always see the little signs that said, "You're now entering a weed and seed neighborhood." I'm not gonna lie. I always thought that's where you buy the drugs at. See, listen, the problem is y'all never explained to us that weed and seed meant something totally different. So it wasn't until I actually started working with Steve and he told me about the initiative, and I was like, what? I was like, nah, man, nah, because again,
you're weeding out the negativity, and you are feeding in the positive working with the police department. That gives the opportunity to work with the police department. And as the matriarch, Miss Spann had our police department on lockdown on what needs to happen in the community.
I know.
So let's say this, and I was fairly young myself, DeAndre.
Well, we all were.
When that came out, and I was like, what? So when she sent us it was myself and Kelly Smith. We went to Washington, D.C., where the Congressman does most of his fantastic work to learn about how we do community economic development and community pride. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned her name. She's the founder of Northwest Austin Council, and her legacy lives on through you, Steve. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So we have a community member that popped in, and I brought her into the show. I don't know if she wants to speak or not, but Miss Geraldine Blair, if you so choose to, if you unmute yourself, then you can go ahead and enter the show with us if you got some questions.
That's right.
No, thank you for the invite, but unfortunately, I just received an invite and I tuned in to see what it was about, so I've missed most of the meeting already. So I'm just listening, but thank you.
Oh, no worries.
Nice to meet you, Ms. Blair.
So that gives me an opportunity to do this quick little plug. So Welcome Northwest Austin Council is essentially a West Side show produced by West Side people and West Side people talking about West Side things. So we have the Congressman Davis. He'll always be on with us at least an hour. He's been generous the last 2 weeks. This is only our second week. He's been generous in giving us two hours of his time. Per his words, he said he would be watching MSNBC. So, if he loves doing it, we love having him. But that's right. Otherwise, we'll be pretty much doing an hour or so with the Congressman Davis to kick off the first hour. The second hour, we'll be essentially talking about certain things. So today's show is about Block Club development. And this show, Welcome Northwest Austin Council, will be every Sunday from 6 to 8. You have the opportunity to watch through the different streams that we have, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. You can comment there. We see the comments live. As you can see, I'm able to show those comments. And if you want to come directly into the show because you have a question, comment, or a concern, then you can do that by clicking the StreamYard link. Otherwise, you can call us at 773-379-7961, and we can also listen to you live there. So I just had to do that quick little plug.
And I want to say, for anyone that's out there in the Austin area, although we have boundaries, Northwest Austin Council has boundaries, which actually be Narragansett to the west, Dickens to the north, Cicero, we used to be Laramie, Cicero to the east, and Lake Street to the south. We still would support anyone that wants to develop and build a block club. We will be there to set the roadmap. We will be there to guide you. We will be there to allow the empowerment of your block and your individual self to happen. So anyone that's interested, make sure you notify us.
What if they serve speckled butter beans? The last I went to Miss Rosetta Guy.
Miss Guy.
This guy gave me some speckled butter beans.
That was good, right? With the turkey?
That's my girl, Miss Guy.
Man, listen.
I sat there on the side of her.
That's what I was doing.
And ate the cornbread and speckled butter beans.
No, that was good.
So anybody that's got a block club party coming up, if you're going to have speckled butter beans,
that's right.
Invite me.
Put the turkey tails and the turkey necks in there too, please.
Look, Miss, you talking about organizing and block club development. Miss Guy know how to make it happen,
And a little bit of okra too. And some okra to go with it.
Make that meal. Hey, back again. That's a tool. That's one of the most important tools in any. I tell people, building a block club or building leadership is like going on a date. When you go on a date with somebody, what do? You take them out to eat. You learn a little more about the person. You share information. You might even see some things you might not go. And it's all about relationship building. I have a lot of people that said to me over the years, they say, Steve, you get along with everybody. And I never looked at it that way, because my intent is to build, build whatever I got with whatever I have to help someone in any capacity that I can. Now, I ain't gonna say I get along with everybody, because everybody don't want to get along with me. But it is what it is. The intent is to do that. I want to help my neighbor, because you know what? My neighbor might need me one day. And I want to know my neighbor. And it is what it is.
Well, I see that St. Allen's is Miss Leola Span and Commander Leroy Shields of the 15th District PD worked extremely well together. And just remembering
Leroy.
Commando Shields, who used to march up and down the street with us. We used to have this war against drug dealers. And we had a bunch of drug dealers over in front of Reverend Upshire's church. And we'd go over there every Saturday afternoon.
Mhm.
James Dean
Oh yeah.
and Reverend Upshire and Commander O'Shields. Every Saturday we did that at least for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Until we got the drug dealers from in front of peace.
That's what it takes.
There ain't no drug dealers go sell no drugs.
Positive loitering.
And Commando Shield, one day we was having a thing, and the drug dealer was across the street, and he's hollering, Commander, Alderman Davis, y'all ain't got no jobs for these people. We give them jobs. I had to hold Commando Shield to keep him from going over grabbing the guy.
Yeah. Leroy Shield was a good guy though. I really liked him.
Oh, he was a great guy.
We had a meeting at NAC one time in the summer. It must have been 28 years ago. And there was shots fired. And the guy was backing out of the alley shooting as he came out. We were ending our meeting. And Leroy Shields, I literally seen the commander chase the assailant down the street by foot. I'm looking like, this the commander.
Yeah, he would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy he wasn't excited about was Magic One.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Deacon Don. Yeah, I hear you. But no, I mean, that, block clubs, we really do need to get back to the basis of it, the basics.
Well, suppose a block club, see, when I used to do real block club stuff, we would set goals. And the goals could be whatever you set. For example, we might have a goal that everybody that wanted a job on the block would have a job. And everybody who worked, if they had some job openings at their place, they would come to the block club meeting and report that we need 2 people where I work. Somebody else, we need 3 people where I work. Or we'd set a goal that every kid's going to be going to school, and that we're going to check up on them and know how they're doing.
Right.
And if they had some needs that were unmet, that their family or their parents weren't able to meet, or every boy would have an outlet, whether it was Little League Baseball.
Sports, right.
I used to have a team. James Dean had a team. I had a team, and my team named themselves the Oakland Athlete. I couldn't understand it. But I said y'all could do whatever. Whatever y'all wanted to name it. They named the team the Oakland Athletics.
Right.
I said, what is that? I mean, it just didn't make any sense. James Dean's team was the White Sox. Then we had a team. Butch had a team.
Yeah. Then what's it? Alderman Irvin's father had a
Oh,
team.
yeah. I worked with Alderman Irwin's father in the Boy Scouts and in youth activity. Commander Claudel Irwin. I knew him when he was a patrolman.
Okay.
But he went from patrolman to commander, and he always worked. He actually was always civically involved. At one time, he was chairman of the Austin Developmental Center that Illa Daggett was the executive
Daggett.
director of.
You bringing up some names now.
Oh, yeah. Illa Daggett was the director, and he also was chairman of the Bobby Wright Mental Health Center at one time. So, yeah, policemen, this business of interacting is nothing new. My daddy was a wise guy, and he used to say there's nothing new under the sun. Things go out, and then they come back.
Right.
And so this whole business of interacting, of saying that everybody can get along together if everybody respects each other, those things are pretty normal. I'm saying
What makes us
some
human,
communities
regular.
and all, they are normal, and they don't have to be some special or extra. They can be the norm.
Right.
That is what you are expected to do. And so we've had some tough times with the COVID-19, but we're coming out of it. People are going out, getting out. We've got our back to school parade and picnic on the 21st. And we, quite frankly, expect thousands of people to be engaged because it's outside.
Right.
So we're just hoping that the virus does not pick up. But we gotta keep fighting it. We gotta keep trying to get people vaccinated. I have been fortunate. We've vaccinated more than 20,000 people ourselves. I'm not talking about the Board of Health, not talking about Loretta Hospital. I'm not talking about health outfits. We've just set up opportunities, and we've distributed more than 25,000 face masks.
Right.
First bunch I had, Willie Wilson gave me 10,000.
Wow.
We put them all out.
Then
I've been with Willie. Somebody else gave me 10,000. An Asian group sent me 10,000 from Taiwan.
Wow.
Not from China, but from Taiwan.
Right.
We put all those out. So people need to make sure they keep wearing the mask. If they have not been vaccinated, they need to get vaccinated.
Right.
They need to make sure that they do, and not allow this stupid stuff that's going around about vaccination this, vaccination.
Right.
If it was that bad and all these millions of people been vaccinated, these millions of people couldn't be ignorant.
Right.
Don't believe that all these millions of people who've been vaccinated are ignorant, are crazy.
Well, I want to add.
No, they ain't crazy. They doing what they need to do, and that is get vaccinated.
Absolutely.
And we need to get vaccinated also.
I want to add, Congressman, that Representative Lilly has also, supported a great effort in the Austin community with getting vaccines, and we've done some also. DeAndre and I, we gave out PPE over the last summer and some of the earlier months this year. But we want to commend Representative Lilly with all the efforts that she has had that put forth in our community to get people the vaccine. We pushed and she pushed, and we got some good numbers. We still need more, but we will push forward to get more people with the vaccine if they need and if they want. Because a lot of people do have medical issues that prevent them, but
they won't give a person with a medical problem if they tell the truth. I'm saying, if you tell your doctor the truth, or you tell whoever's gonna give you the shot the truth, if you should not be vaccinated, they're not gonna vaccinate you.
Right.
Because they also have to deal with liability. They have to have insurance. They have to have medical malpractice stuff.
Absolutely.
And so they gonna treat you right. They're gonna treat you right.
DeAndre, maybe we got the last 10 minutes. We want to do some outreach and get some more people to call in. I know some individuals had questions. They had told me earlier. Miss Jacobs, I don't know if she had a question, but whatever.
Yeah, let me see.
We see who's still on.
The only thing I would add to the vaccination conversation, not only do we need to make sure those who wants to be vaccinated get vaccinated, we have to continue to do COVID testing. It is important that you test whether you negative or positive as you go in and to and fro from work into your family settings. You need to know whether you are COVID free. So continue to do that. Both of those are very important right now while this Delta variant is unfortunately going in the wrong direction. So please encourage your listeners, your neighbors, your family to get COVID tested as well as get their vaccine.
Y'all hearing this?
Absolutely.
Get the vaccine and be tested and seen.
Yeah, so as Steve was saying, we have about 10 minutes left, and this is an opportunity for those that are still in the back room to come aboard the show. And if they have any questions, again, as it relates to, some of this block club building that we were talking about, or any other questions at all within these last 10 minutes that you just want to have a general discussion about before we wrap up, this is a good opportunity to do so. For those that are watching live, you can always call in 773-379-7961. Again, if you are watching live as well, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, you can comment. We can see the comments live. We can reply to them live. And if you would like to come into the show, all you have to do is click the StreamYard link.
Absolutely.
I have a question directing to the congressman.
Yes.
Okay. Me and Steve and DeAndre and some of the community people have been talking about bringing truant officers back to the community. We was talking about say for example, if little John is not in school, then we would want to call to the house and we would go to the house and see where little John would be. Then if not, we can't find little John, then the parent, the school, and the community, we got an issue here. We got to work with this. And I think, this is what we was talking about. This is what we trying to bring back to our community.
Well, I
think
think
direct to the congressman.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that idea at all. And there are a lot of individuals who are helping teachers. I'm saying, when I taught in the Chicago public school system, which I did, as a regularly certified teacher for 6 years, truant officers were a regular thing because some kids would try to play hooky from school. And so the role of the truant officer was to make sure that school attendance was up. That really is something that local school councils should be doing and checking and making sure that the attendance at their school is what they want the attendance to be. And what truant officers often found was that when a kid was not coming to school or a young person, something was wrong. I'm saying there was something wrong in the family that oftentimes was the reason that Johnny or Susie or whoever it was wasn't coming to school. And so truant officers, if we want to call them that, or helpers of any kind, the whole idea is to help young people want to go to school. You know, when I was a kid, if I had to miss a day out of school, I cried. I'm saying I actually would cry if for some reason I had to miss a day out of school.
Yeah, good lunches.
Well, I wanted to be at school because school was where you learned stuff.
Yeah.
And it was where you had fun.
Right.
And school was just kind of the shot.
Right.
I didn't want to miss Sunday school either.
We talked about that last time.
I didn't want to miss church.
We talked about how we
If
gotta
kids
make
learn to
school
read,
cool
let me
again.
tell you, I've got 1,000 books I'm going to give away on the 21st.
Right.
I bought 1,000 books to give to young teens. It kind of says, so you want to be grown or you want to be an adult. And it talks about the difference between being mature and being immature. And that coming into being a teenager means that you take on another level of responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's what becoming a teenager means that you do. Reverend Walter McCrae wrote this book, and he is an author. He's a PhD. He's a black, intelligent guy. And he lives down there not far from where my office is located. There are so many resources in our community if we take the time to organize them. I want to have a book fair. And the reason I want to have a book fair is there are so many people in the community who've written books that you just wouldn't think had written books. And people bring me their book because they hear me talk about reading and that kind of stuff. I've had 3 or 4 books brought to me in the last week from people who live in the community. Alderman Ed Smith has written 3 books.
Really?
Yeah.
3.
And he 4.
Wow.
He just gave me the last one. But a young lady brought me a book the other day. Her brother was Yummy. Some of you might remember. Yeah. And she's written a play. And I went over and participated with her as they were filming the play. And her mother came out, and her mother says, "This Alderman Davis?" I said, "Well, you know, I was an alderman, you know,
some time ago."
She said, "You don't remember me, but you came to my house when my son got killed." And I said, "Well, I'll be." She said, "Yeah, you came to my house." And then I remembered the whole thing. And I went to the funeral home and saw her son in the funeral home before they had prepared him for burial and all of that. I mean, there's so many things that go on if we take the time to highlight them. So I want to have a book fair.
We need to
And
look
just-
at making that happen.
Just the people in the hood.
Yeah.
Highlight the hood.
I
written
know,
books.
you're right, Congressman. I know about 3 people that have written books in the community.
We'll have it downstairs.
Yeah, we
Right.
can do that.
We'll have it
I've
downstairs.
had 2 of the individuals, they want to do book signings here.
That-
So, you know.
That's a pledge.
Okay.
We'll do that together.
So in the last minute, while we get ready to wrap up, take us out with something. Well, everybody got to leave something. So leave what you got for us.
Oh, there are just so many things going on. We're preparing for Recovery Month, which is coming up in September. There are thousands of people in our community who have been affected negatively by the overuse of drugs. alcohol. We had 8 people to OD over here on Chicago Avenue. That's in one block.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many issues, so many things that people can do. So that's coming up. And I just ask people, churches are beginning to reopen, and people should be prayerful. They should work, but I ain't got no problem pushing faith.
Right.
Because let me tell you, if you ain't got nothing you can reach back and grab hold to in time of trouble, and you don't know which way to turn and which way to go, and you will fall prey to all kind of stuff.
What's available?
Negative thoughts, negative ideas, disbelief. So find yourself something
And anger.
that I said this morning at It's Time Truth Speaks. They have a favorite song that says, in times like these, you need an anchor. In times like these, you need a savior.
Right.
You be sure, you be very sure that your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. And so we all need something to hold on to. Otherwise, we end up in the crazy house. Need mental health. So.
Man, I hear that. Thank you, Congressman. Steve, what you got for us?
And I want to say, to all out there that are listening and to those that we're trying to reach, Northwest Austin Council will be coming upon its 50th year anniversary next year. We are organizing, we do have a committee that's organized to figure out where, when, and we actually have a time. When is that time again, DeAndre? You remember that we plan on having it next year.
The date to be decided, but it's September 2022.
That's right. And for those that want to be a part of this great 50-year commemoration, feel free to call us and talk to us, and we'll give you more information in the future.
All right, Representative Lilly.
Well, I just want to add how important it is to smile. When you are sharing a smile with someone, it turns their day around. And it shows that you have a compassion and affinity for positive thinking. We need to do more smiling, and we need to be lifting each other up during these turbulent times. It's going to make the difference. So I want to thank you two young men for just having this podcast, and I'm learning some. This is my first time on this, so it took me a little bit to figure it out. but I now understand it and how important it is for an opportunity to listen to people. So keep doing what you're doing, and I will keep listening and being a part of the solution. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't have much to say.
You gonna take us out?
Yeah, man. Listen, I ain't got much to say. All I got to say is, listen, we do this every Sunday, 6 to 8. Again, the congressman, he's being modest. He's up for re-election. So support that man. Hardest working man on the West Side. He's been doing what he's been doing for a long time. And the Lord has continued to bless them with breath so he could keep doing it. You know what I mean? If you support that, support him. And we will be here again every Sunday, 6 to 8. Usually he gives us an hour, but he keep giving us 2. If he keep giving us, that's all we're going to take it, For me, like I say, I'm the youngest old man in the room. They didn't want to give us a seat at the table, so we created our own. Welcome, Northwest Austin Council.
That's right.
Peace.
See y'all next Sunday.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye, Congressman. Love you.
Nope.